Human trafficking is a crime that absolutely thrives in the shadows. But what happens when the whole world suddenly changes? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore. We're diving deep into the 2024 Global Report from the UN Office on Drugs and Crime to really understand how this dark enterprise adapted to a post-pandemic world.
So this is the big question, right? When everything locked down, did these criminal networks just stop? Or did they just get smarter, finding new ways to exploit people when we were all looking the other way? The UNODC report really dug in to find the answer, and what they found is pretty eye-opening.
All right, let's pull back the curtain and look at the investigation itself. To really grasp these huge shifts, the UNODC had to conduct this massive, data-driven analysis.
So, the foundation for everything we're talking about is the UNODC's 8th Global Report. Think of it like this. By looking at data from 156 countries, specifically between 2019 and 2023, they got this incredible before and after picture. It lets us see exactly how the pandemic shook things up and reshaped how trafficking works on a global scale.
But this isn't just about high-level numbers and statistics. Now, the researchers tapped into a source that gives us this incredibly detailed, almost ground-level view of how these crimes actually play out. And what was that source? Over 1,000 adjudicated court cases. I mean, think about that. By digging into these actual case files, the report uncovered some major shifts. For instance, they saw this huge jump in traffickers using online platforms, social media, messaging apps to recruit people during lockdowns. It was a clear pivot away from the more traditional face-to-face methods. This legal data gives us a kind of detail we've just never had before.
Okay, so to make these global trends feel a bit more real and less abstract, the report zooms way in on one region in particular, Africa.
And this is a really big deal. For the very first time, the report has a whole chapter dedicated to Africa, using data from more countries on the continent than ever before. This gave them a much clearer picture of what was going on. One of the key findings? Most of the trafficking within Africa is actually intra-regional, meaning victims are often moved just across a neighboring border for forced labor in places like mines or on farms.
So this deep dive looked at, well, everything, from the routes traffickers use to the profiles of the victims. And one of the most critical findings was about the pandemic's impact on just detecting the crime. With fewer officials at border crossings, detections of cross-border trafficking actually dropped at first. Meanwhile, exploitation happening within countries, often involving children, became even harder to spot and to prosecute.
Now this is where it gets really powerful. The UNODC didn't just present their findings and call it a day. They've now made the data they used available for literally anyone to explore. This is a huge step forward for transparency in research. We're talking about the largest data set on human trafficking in existence. 20 years of anonymized information on over 450,000 victims and 300,000 offenders. And it's now completely public. This means you, me, any researcher can go in, analyze the trends, and even verify the report's findings for themselves.
And getting to it is super simple. You just go to the UNODC website, find their data portal, and you can start digging into 2 decades of global data right away.
But let's take a step back. All this data, the court cases, the regional analysis, this amazing public portal, it all serves one single ultimate purpose: helping survivors. Because we have to remember, behind every single one of those data points is a human being.
The goal here isn't just to document a crime. It's to build a better response. It's about taking all this information and turning it into real-world dignity and safety for survivors.
So what does that support actually look like? Well, the report makes it clear that it has to be comprehensive. It means things like legal aid to help someone navigate a really complex justice system. It means specialized counseling to deal with unimaginable trauma. And it means real, long-term assistance to help survivors safely rebuild their lives and reintegrate into society.
If this 2024 UNODC report makes one thing crystal clear, it's that trafficking networks are incredibly resilient. They're adaptable. They literally evolve through a global crisis. So the question for all of us is this: now that we have the knowledge, now that we can see the patterns in this new world, can our efforts to stop them and to help survivors find a new beginning evolve even faster?